It's good skills. It might be a tip that you heard. Might be something interesting that someone said in a group, or something interesting that you said in a group. Any wow elements? I see so someone's already said too many. So you have a chance to think about them. I'm going to offer one as a starter, which was the first one that I heard today. Michael from Denmark, I think, a manager of social workers. And he said he'd been asking this question to his groups. What happened last week that made your work meaningful? What happened last week that made your work meaningful? And that's part of the coffee morning chat as they gather at the beginning of the day. That struck me as a beautiful question and one that I've not heard in that form ever before. So something new, something wow, and something I can borrow. You can put your answers in the chat if you want to, if you prefer writing. And we've got time as well before we hand over to America for hearing some spoken to the group, either with or without your video on. So perhaps raise a hand, either in real life or using the Zoom controls, and we'll invite you in. Tammy, I see your hand up first.
Hello. One of the meetings I went to, there was a lovely share of resources, and I was able to be exposed to Discover Solutions New Zealand, which had some amazing, amazing task cards and some wonderful suggestions and full of solution-focused questions that I'm going to happily be using and adding to my repertoire. Thank you. And that was a lovely moment for me to discover that resource.
Thank you. If you want to share it either by way of a link or some of the content of it, then do please put that in the chat as well.
I'll throw it in the chat.
Lovely. Thank you. Klaus, your hand is up.
One of the quite a couple highlights of today was a very light-hearted, light-footed conversation hosted by Julia Paysoon and Paut about grief in brief. And the special highlight was so many things being shared in the chat that I was tempted to copy the chat and keep it as a resource. Beautiful, thank you.
Again, if you've got any specific items from that you can cut and paste into this chat, then we'd be happy to see them. Thank you very much. The question of can we share resources here? Yes, of course. Please do. And who else has a moment of insight, a useful reminder? Kasia, and then Liz.
For me, the most beautiful moment was when I was able to observe what happened in between the words during the demo session of Peter Saber. It was about listening, about silence, about mirroring, joining, and about the presence. And I felt really privileged I could see that.
This was the listening like Momo session, yes?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Saw that too. Thank you, Kasia. Liz.
Two quick ones. The grief session, just that the main thing was it could be someone or something, not just a person, was a nice reminder. And then the New Zealand one, Matt Cameron, I never used AI, so that was very opening to see how he's actively using it.
So two things. Grief can be for something other than a person, an insight. And how was he or she using AI?
Matt was using it with his clients in taking what they would say, like a specific list, and having AI create like a song or a poem or a storybook. And it was amazing too. He said he does it in session with clients, and it was just eye-opening because I've never used AI ever.
It's a amazingly creative idea, isn't it? To use AI to give that kind of artistic reflection to a client. Thank you, Liz. Paut.
Sparkling moments, good moments. Oh, I'm just buzzing with everything that's been going on, and what just shines out is people being so friendly and kind and cooperative, even if things went wrong here and there. But yeah, the sense of community that so many people were talking about at the opening, that is what they were looking for. It shines through totally. Yeah,
We've conducted ourselves in good spirits.
absolutely.
Glad to hear it. Hey, son, hello, and the hand was up.
Well, hello. You know, my warmest surprise was I was just in the cafe and this young person that I've not met before showed up, Pravali. I don't know if she's in this room. And then I was like, I don't know you. And, and we're just chatting, and she's a high school student from South India who found out about this event on like what is it Eventbrite, and she wanted to just join and attend this conference instead of going to school, and her mother said yes, it will be great for you to do that. That was one of my warmest surprises because that gave me so much hope. So I think we have to keep her in this community. So that was so sweet.
I've noticed I'm seeing people I know and a lot of people that I don't know, don't yet know. It's important that we refresh the community as well, isn't it? So everyone very welcome to contribute in this session with a moment of insight, a useful reminder, tip, or a wow that you've had so far. I'm going to offer another one while you have a think about that. It's a combination from two of the sessions that I attended. Chris Iverson, who's just done a session, and he reminded us that you can choose, or the client can choose, which story about a person we follow, and as a topic of conversation, which story are we following? And that connected for me with Denise Baden's session, Professor Baden, who was asking which stories most inspire people's intent to do something about the topic, whether they're positive stories or negative stories in the media or in fiction that we read or in other material that we consume. And perhaps no surprise here, it's the positive stories that lead to more intent to action and eventual action. Negativity might raise awareness, but it reduces agency, raises anxiety and pessimism, gets you stuck, especially with females. So I thought that was a very insightful session. And maybe when we have the SF24 sessions each month through the year, that would be a very good session to have another look at, because it's slightly different from mainstream SF, but supports a lot of what we're talking about and doing. Pascal, please.
Hi, everyone. So I've had a great day, and one thing that stood out was in Natalia's session on SF sex therapy, talking about permission giving. I've put a bit more in the chat, but just the idea of saying that we give people permission to talk about a topic which is perhaps taboo in society, or they feel shame around, or they just haven't had a space to explore, is really radical. And so I work with schools and school refusal, school-based difficulties, and there's a lot around neurodivergence as well in that. So these are topics that can be quite taboo. And it might sound like problem talk, but actually just allowing someone the space to discuss and listening to them without judgment and encouraging them to explore their experience is actually, quite radically solution focused.
Sure.
So
thank you,
thank you,
Pascal.
Natalia.
I'm always like the description of solution focus as 1 foot in acknowledgement and 1 foot in possibility. And it's got that invitational, comprehensive, talk about whatever you want. There are no taboo topics, and we can listen with acknowledgement and then find what's wanted and perhaps get on the track towards that. Where will we be able to find all the videos after the conference? There is a resource called the Solution Focused 24 YouTube channel, where you can find all the videos of previous years, and then gradually there will be an uploading of videos for this year. Maybe John Brooker can say something about that, if that's still in your remit, John.
No, it isn't now. So no, I
Catty?
can't say anything on that.
Catty can.
Oh, Kathy, yeah.
This year it's Jesper Christiansen who's taking care of the videos, and all presenters have in the presenter guide the where to put them. And I might give one email address into the chat where it's very simple to send, but there are other ways too.
Every session that I've attended has been recorded, and with that reminder, they get sent to this repository, and then they're there as a library and free to use for anyone that has that access. And they're used selectively for the watch parties each month that we watch a 10-minute extract and have a discussion again about that topic, often with the person that presented in SF24. I saw Clara, if I can invite you to tell us about this new community. If you're still here.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah, it was very interesting and inspiring. In LinkedIn, one of my colleagues invited me to a secret community, but it's not really secret. It's especially coaches and career consultants. And it was the first event, but we decided we follow this, and this is, I think, it will be a very, very good place for sharing our, for example, problem or hard events or hard clients, and we can help each other and learn from each other. I think it's very important. And I'm very happy when something organized. It's organic. It's not it's just because we think we are not concurrents of each other, but colleagues. And as in this conference, and I'm very happy about it. And
thank you, Clara. It's important we have supporters and groups that we can be part of, both online and ideally in person, through the year.
And I hope, I hope, and I'm sure we meet personally also sometimes. Cool. Because we are always online, and sometimes need a personal meeting also.
Thank you. There are some conferences coming up. The Soul World Conference that I think is sold out, but there may be a waiting list in Mechelen in Brussels, near Brussels, Belgium, and the UK ASFP Conference in Bradford, City of Culture in the UK. Have a look at the UK ASFP website. It's a very good program being put together for that as well. Beverly, please.
Also mentioned the SFBTA conference in Toronto, November 6 to 9. So that's another one coming up. I went to hear Klaus Schenk because it was something I'd never heard of before, which is fractals, and because I just wanted to know, how does that have anything to do with solution focus? And it's really piqued my curiosity, learning about simplexity. I even have to use my notes to talk about it. And learning about Cantor's dust, how you dust things off until it becomes something smaller. Like, it was just fascinating to see kind of mathematical art and solution focus combined together. So I still want to know more about it. So that was fun, totally out of anything I thought of before.
Thank you, Beverly, and thank you, Klaus. So where is the conference in the UK? It's in Bradford, which is in Yorkshire in the north. The beer is cheap and plentiful. We're asking for moments of insight, useful reminders, wise words, tips that you've heard during today. I'll offer one more and then invite a few more from you. The idea also from the session with Michael this morning, that a manager using solution focus can function as a witness to progress over time. They know what the person was like when they came into the organization or came into the team, and they can usefully reflect and articulate the progress that that person has made from when they started to where they are now. That seems a good thing to pass on for those of us working in organizations to managers that we're working with. Paut has helpfully put in the UKSFP link there. Thank you very much. And also the Belgium Mechelen one, which, as I say, I think is sold out, but there may be a waiting list. Bradford, there's still some spaces. And I think today is the last of the early bird days. So move along quickly on that.
That was April 30, but they might extend. You never know.
Just send them the lower rate and hope they accept it. I'm sure they will. Other moments from today. Raise a hand physically or virtually, and we'll hear your reflection.
It was a lot. And it needs time to sink in. Oh, Klaus has one. Brilliant.
Yes, in the session by Chris Eisen, right in the last maybe 3 to 5 minutes, he had an invitation that was like a meditation, an instruction to think about a person you love and thinking about giving them a hug and then pulling back 1 minute or two. And then like frame by frame, leading you through the upcoming experience. I loved it.
Thank you, Klaus. I really liked his idea of seeing oneself as a director of a film or a play, moment by moment. You're putting together that sequence with the client as the performer or the star. And Caroline, please.
Here. Hey, I don't know if I can explain what I'm taking with. I was in Jacqueline's class about the solution wheel, and I really loved it. First, I didn't get it. And then suddenly I clicked and I realized that with this solution wheel, I can look at a topic that I have, and through the questions by asking, what if this topic would be solved? Then it's like a cake. It's like a cake. And then I would say, well, then I would sleep better. Then I would love myself. Then I would, I don't know, And then I realized, oh, wow, that is so helpful to when there is something difficult, to not see black, white, either or, but one topic and finding what are the different parts that will be changed. And then on which part will I start to focus on? And like this, I think to me, it felt so much more lively, the scale. It's actually the scaling question, but in a cake form. I loved it. I really loved it. And
thank you, Caroline. I would always prefer cake to a scale.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then I wanted to say, it's always so lovely to be in these communities, because I always meet so many new friends that I haven't known yet. I really love it. Thank you.
Lovely. It sounds as though both of those, the cake or the scale, they build progress into the conversation. If you have a conversation about those, you're having a conversation about progress. Kati.
It's something personal. In our workshop, Hesan asked me about research that really changed my work. And I was telling about a research I got to do by Harry Corman. And it was several minutes later that I recognized that his daughter, a colleague of ours now, is in the audience. And it touched me. It was like, oh. And these are also moments in this community that can meet you.
Yeah. Personal moments, emotional moments. Janine, what's been a insightful, emotional or personal moment for you during the conference today?
Well, I have really enjoyed the connections with people, seeing people, and a lot of new people, which has been exciting. I loved Chris's session, just seeing the video and the commentary and the precision and the simplicity of the approach. So yes, I enjoyed that, but all of it, and seeing you all is just wonderful.
Thank you. I see that the plea for early bird rates from UKSFP has already been accepted. Linda, passing on the message there. Brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm seeing Jonas on my screen here, and I loved the moment in his session about training of all the, I may not be phrasing this right, and you can correct me in a moment, of the intangible elements that you can write down the design, you can know what it is to deliver clearly and articulately, and yet there's something as well in addition to those important things that's an intangible that might be much more difficult to convey or to teach, but that is important.
Oh, I'd love to have a whole conference on that. That would be so much fun to talk more about.
Organize another one.
Organize another one. No, but it's really fun. I mean, I've been thinking about in the world of religion, or in Christian religion. I'm not a Christian. I'm not. But they do have an interesting thing. You can pray in two different ways. You can pray for things, with language. Say what you want and pray for world peace, or pray for your mother, or pray for your children, or pray for something very explicitly. And we're very good at that. And it's called cataphatic praying. But there's apophatic praying, where you pray for things that you can't put into words, which are also real. You pray for something more mystical, or something more, intangible, as the word you use. And I find that's also alive in solution-focused practice, that we're also looking and working at, because the question doesn't work on its own, it works within something else, which is alive and moving and warm and loving. And we struggle to find words to describe this. But I love those moments in a session when the client says, I just don't know. And then it goes quiet for a moment. I just love that, because something magical happens and I don't know what it is, but it's something beautiful.
There's some magic there. Thank you, Jonas. And in Peter Jarbo's session, it was about the use of silence, and we practiced and thought of moments of silence and what difference that made. And I regretted the transition from being a journalist to a print journalist when I was paid by the word to now being paid for the silence. Very different. Who else has
this is Cornell.
insight they'd like? Cornell, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think we should also remember our colleagues who are not speaking English. So we had a fabulous session with Csaba Csányi about the SF work in prisons. So how the reintegration is going and supported by SF kind of interactions and work in the last couple of years, more than 4 years, 5 years it's going on. So it was a very interesting session.
Thank you, Cornell. And I think we're right that we had more languages in SF24 this year than any previous running of this conference. So seeing that expansion of a global conference to be more truly global through different languages as well as different geographies is fantastic. Is it time for me to hand over, Beverly and Hye-sun?
Me?
I'm guessing it is.
Almost. And I shall do so. Thank you all very much. What wonderful, wonderful harvest. And a lot of it is there in the chat.
It's amazing.
Thank you for closing this European section, Paul. That was lovely. I'll put in the chat the link to the live Padlet for the coming 6 amazing hours. So please stay on if you will, and see you on the other side.
Yeah, see you on the other side.
We're gonna have an amazing plenary, which will start right now. So we're hoping you will all hang out. And has anyone been at the conference for the whole, since the beginning, since Oceania? How many people? I see Liz and
with a few hours sleep.
Yeah. And is this the first for anybody here who hasn't been at the conference before? Is anyone here for the first time? Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
but Klaus, you just gave a workshop, but you've been at the 24, 25. But so now you're in for a treat because now this is the Americas' turn. And for any Spanish speakers, Marcos has a whole Spanish section. And I just wanted to say, for those who don't know, this is our 5th year having this global community, which is pretty exciting. It was started by Paul and Jackson and Steve Flatt back in the pandemic days, and it's still alive today. I think, Caddy, how many people came this year? A thousand what?
Actually, we are not in picture yet. At the beginning of today, it was 1,300 and a bit more, but registration are still coming in, and they can come in the next 5 hours because we thought maybe someone just wants to join us for the closing of the conference. So it's possible.
So the fact that you're here, I know that you know how to do the Padlet, but I just wanted to say just a couple things before I turn it over to Hae-Sun and her panel, which is we have the coffee bar, which you'll see at the top of the Padlet in each of the columns, and that's where you can go if you're having any trouble with getting into something. Also, if you want to connect with people, a whole bunch of amazing conversations have happened in the coffee bar. So I really recommend it if you just want to casually talk, see where people are from, get to know people, take a break. And so that's a really good resource. Also, there is more conference materials, the PDF, all the contributors. It'll be recorded. We're going to be hosting the watch parties. And we hope that you'll put where you're from when you go to any of the workshop, just so people can see. They don't know that someone from their state or their country is in solution focus, so it helps people get together. So our closing is going to be at 6 o'clock. No, I don't know what time it really is going to be. What time is it really going to be at? I'm in the UK now, so I think it's 7 o'clock America's time, EST. Is that right, Hae-Sun? It's at 7? No,
I don't know. UK might be
I'm
6.
an hour ahead. I don't want to confuse people. It'll be at the end. No, I think
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
So, yeah,
it's
1 to
7
7, I think that's right.
Yeah,
one EDT.
Our closing is from 6 to 7 EST. Sorry, and I'm in
Okay.
some other time zone.
Is it possible to make a big bow to all of you who are struggling and finding your way between 24 hours of time zones and differences? So thank you for all this figuring out what time is where and who and where we are. So thank you for that. It's a global struggle.
So I have nothing more to add except to say, Hae-Sun, it's all yours now.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
It's all mine.